Hello, team Mirzapur. How are you today?
Very
We
good.
are all good. Very well. Thank you so much, Tony. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Firstly, heartiest congratulations on being the winner of IFM 2021 Best Web Series Award.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
And also, heartiest congratulations for being the most watched show of Amazon.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You must be used by now to hear praises from everyone. How did you feel on winning the Best Web Series Award, especially from Australia?
Yeah, it was a very good feeling, especially as we had talked about it earlier. Also, uh, our show is kind of a heartland, hinterland show, Desi show, and then to get a recognition from somewhere outside India makes it even sweeter. So yeah, it was a wonderful honor, and we really loved it.
Excellent. Could you tell me that when did you sow the seeds of Mirzapur, and did you know that it had potential to grow from one season to the other and many more, and was the end result better than the original you had conceived, or could have been better?
I'll take this, Gurupa.
Yes, please. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Your question.
So, so I think the seeds were conceived long time ago. There was a story which was there in our hearts to be told to the world long time ago, even before Gangs of Wasseypur came out. It was before that. But then finally we got a chance and we started writing it in 2016. That's where the journey started. And to come to the second part of your question, no, we never imagined this to be this big. We were sure that we were making something entertaining and good, but to reach the hearts of millions of people and to believe that they become fans of this story, it was unbelievable, and we never thought that it would come to this stage. So yeah, we were blessed, I think. And as far as I am concerned, or my brother, I can speak on his behalf also, who is a co-writer. I think it became better when people like Guru and Mihir came on board as directors and elevated the whole thing. So I personally can definitely say for sure that the whole series became what it is because someone worked hard on the written material and made it even better.
Fantastic, fantastic. What inspired you to make Mirzapur? Or was it just reverse engineered to put together all the ingredients that's required to tell a story loud with a bang?
Uh, as far as a storyteller, I'm concerned to answer this question. I think uh, more often than not, you will fail if you try to reverse engineer something like this, and especially in this format, which is a longer format. 7 hours of content in one season, so that makes it like 15 hours for two seasons. You can't reverse engineer it. You have to go it in a very organic way. Feel what the characters feel like, and write what characters would do in a situation, and be with them, become them, and that's the only way to write the story. So there was no reverse engineering possible, and that's why we didn't go for it. We just kept on writing, and somehow it all turned out to be good and fruitful for everyone.
Wow, wow, that's so nice. Now, what audience did you have in mind when you were writing? Did you know that it would connect with the global audience, or was it just made to be for India?
Uh, I don't know because we were not exactly thinking about audience when we were writing it. One thing which people were kind of talking about how exactly a female population would receive the story or the show because they were kind of believing that it had a lot of violence and cuss words. So will it put them off? I think it was a wrong assumption, and the way female population of the country liked it, the assumption was proven wrong also, because women also loved the show as much as my understanding goes. So in that sense, that was the only talking point. Other than that, in terms of national or international, I think I personally didn't think like that. What do you think, Guru Bhai?
No, agreed. I don't jump when we started off with the show. Actually, there were no parameters because it had come such in such an early time, even as far as the OTT wave in India was concerned. So there were no set parameters as to what will work and what will not. So I don't think there was um, anything like that kept in mind that this is the benchmark we have to hit or the target that we have to achieve or the kind of masala that we have to put in. I think it comes, as Puneet said, organically from his written material with whatever he conceived, and it was a very engaging, uh, very entertaining show on paper already. So it had a lot of heart, and it was very alive even in the writing. And we were very fortunate that we were able to cast such good actors for the show, actors who are now, like, they're absolute stars in their own right, and they all brought to the show that we've not seen anything else happen like this before. That kind of synergy, especially with working with those people, and I think they are like the heart and soul of the show. And they've really made Mirzapur what it is. It's those actors bringing alive what Puneet had written, and that was absolute magic. I think that um, it just happens once in a while in everyone's lifetime. So we were
Yeah,
very
I think we got lucky with the actors for sure. Yeah.
I think it is such a perfected. The whole thing is so perfect. I've never watched back to back any serial, and this was the first I would say that I was so engrossed. But I must tell you one thing. Even though I loved it, I mean, I personally loved it, but I wouldn't like to sit down with my wife or my daughter and watch it. This was one thing I was thinking. Oh my God, did you? That was my next question actually. Uh, did the script demand to show gross violence, detailed bloodshed, prolonged intimate scenes, or it was just an assurance that it is a recipe for success? I mean, the message could have been conveyed in a bit of a subtle way. That my personal, I mean, I loved it watching alone, but if I have to watch it as a family, I would not recommend. Even though I tell them it's good, but it's not for you guys, not for you guys, because I can't tell my daughter to go and watch it. I felt it's such a good story, but it had certain things that it's, at least for the Indian culture, it's sort of a bit hard to watch it together.
so
Please.
Tony, just coming from your question, like I said before, there was no commercial pressure on us to make the show in a certain manner, because at that time that didn't exist. There was no parameters, like we said, so nothing was done that would, in our heads, would ensure us success. As far as the violence was concerned, this was something that we were also experimenting with in season one, because of the restrictions when you have with big screen, where it's an open environment and you watch it in a community with people coming in and a lot of people watching together, as you said, where families would go and watch a film together. You have restrictions of what sort of graphic content you can show. But with the OTT arriving, and the messaging was clear initially that this is going to be a selective audience, like people will personally decide to choose what they want to watch, and in most cases people are watching stuff individually. So that's a choice that they will take when they want to watch the show. So we were given the license that we could actually push the boundaries and try and explore an area that wasn't explored before, and that is something that we were trying to achieve visually, even in terms of violence. Like, for example, if you we would have seen things like this happen in our contemporary space in different languages across the globe, which we've enjoyed or we've appreciated as filmmakers. Just even if you look at things like Game of Thrones or work that Tarantino has done, there's a lot of graphic violence in it, but all of the violence that exists there, or even if it does in Mirzapur, I mean, at least the attempt has always been that it sort of attaches you to the story further rather than taking you away from it. For example, when Guddu and Bablu do kill the first person that they do, the idea to show how that sort of gore and violence can attract one human being but dispel the other was something that would only come across if we actually see how damaging a bullet can be. So we didn't want to romanticize it and cut away from it when somebody does get shot or hit or cut. So you actually see the impact of it on the human body, which tells you how dangerous these people can be, or how this world could be. So that was our attempt when we were going into it. And also the uh, the theme of the first season was very raw, because our main protagonists were all emerging and they were all hungry for power, and that was our visual interpretation of that as well. Whereas if you see season 2, when they are also hurting and they are also simmering and they are seeking revenge, we don't get into that sort of a violent spree with them. It only comes when the characters are also experiencing that sort of raw emotion. So you'll find a difference there even in both the seasons, because that's the journey we wanted even our characters to take. So they don't take violence as gratuitously as they do in the first season, and that's something that you will see as a journey even in the show.
Wow. Um, now they say a director is a captain of the ship. Was it the case in this show as well, or is it the writer who called the shots? Because I heard you saying that it was so well written, and I am a big fan of Puneet. All of a sudden, I mean, I've just known him. I didn't watch any of your thing before, but I did a bit of a search that I must watch all the content you've done so far. But oh my God, what a perfect writing! Like you said, it's once in a while that every star is in a line, and what a perfect scripting. I mean, naap tol ke aisa banaya hai aapne with perfection, with execution. And Gurmeet, I'm a big fan of yours as well, man. And to Gurmeet Singh laga hua hai, main keh yaar itni zabardast direction, and oh my God. So who was the captain of the ship?
विदाउट एनी डाउट गुरमीत सिंह, इसमें कोई डाउट ही नहीं है. आप समझ रहे हैं, उनके उनके हो वहां पर प्रेजेंट हुए बिना ये शो बन ही नहीं सकता था, मैं बस यही कह सकता हूँ. और बल्कि काफी बार ऐसा भी हुआ है कि मैंने झुककर उनसे ये भी कहा है कि गुरु भाई कुछ जगहों पर राइटिंग क्रेडिट भी ले लो यार, because you have changed things and it has made our show better. You have changed certain arcs and it has made the character journey better. But he's a generous man. He said नहीं यार मैं डायरेक्ट हूँ, काफी जरूरत नहीं है, राइटिंग क्रेडिट नहीं ले रहा हूँ तेरा. तो ही इज दैट काइंड ऑफ अ मैन, एंड वो खुद से बोलते नहीं, इसलिए मैं बीच में कूद पड़ा. या उनकी प्रेजेंस के बिना, एंड देन मिहिर आल्सो बीइंग अ पार्ट ऑफ द डायरेक्टर डुओ टीम, नहीं हो सकता था ये शो. ना पहला सीजन होता ना दूसरा, और होता तो शायद उतना खूबसूरत नहीं होता जितना कि आप इस समय कह रहे हैं. तो
जी, जैसे मिहिर was there, Guru Bhai was there. Was there any differences in creative thing, or and how did you resolve it if both had a different opinion? If
So
there
Tony,
was
actually, just coming back to your previous question as well, what you had mentioned, this is definitely a medium that first belongs to the writers, because as Puneet said, there is so much content that there is no shying away from actually delivering to the audience content. First of all, you cannot hold their attention for such a long span with just gimmicks or things that you can pull off without really good stuff on paper. So it is definitely the writer's medium, and we all come from there. But at the same time, because of the nature of this format, it's even more a collaborative medium than a film would be. So a film will give you a more authoritative control if you're a director, and you can be a lot more auteur with it and go with it with a single vision. But definitely in a show, it needs collaboration. So like Puneet said, with him and Vineet writing, and with Puneet being the showrunner, with Mihir and me being there as directors, and also our producers, Abbas and Rupali, that have been there from the start of this journey, along with Farhan and Ritesh to guide us from the top, and Kasim. These have been the creative forces that have made Mirzapur 1 and Mirzapur 2. And without each and every one person that was there, it wouldn't have been possible. And they're, everyone sort of equally responsible with coming in with their expertise to make this happen, because that support is very, very important in such a long medium that you have. So, and I'm obviously not mentioning the technical team, but we know how much their contribution
Sure.
has been in the show. And we
Sure,
were very lucky that we had the exact same team that came in for season 1 and season 2, and that's why you see the growth of the entire unit together. And it was fantastic to have been part of the show and to be able to get material like this to work on, and to have the support of Amazon and Excel, so that we could put it out in the best possible manner with the kind of cast that we were able to bring to the table. And that wouldn't have been possible if we were in any other ecosystem. So we're very, very grateful for that.
I have next question is I should have asked you much earlier because I'm waiting, and every time I see, I say, "Up, आना चाहिए." When are we going to see season 3? And uh, have you could you raise the bar from 1 and 2?
So I think what we can assure you is that season 3 is on its way. When it can happen, it's probably too early to say, with schedules and the pandemic and just the whole cycle of trying to get people's dates and stuff. So I think that's a little early to predict right now, or to chart out. But efforts are underway. And the second part of your question, that the aim will always be that for everybody attached and everybody involved who's going to be bringing Mirzapur 3 out, so the entire team that will be there, that will always be the attempt, and that should be the attempt. And the eventual product will then decide if that has happened, and the audience will tell us if the bar has been raised or not. But I think the attempt will always be there.
Is the shoot complete, or it's still more to go?
No, right now the shoot is still to happen. It's yet to happen.
Okay,
So
sure.
as the last year and a half has been very tricky for everybody, and we
Sure,
released in
sure,
October of last year. So since
sure.
then, things have been stop and start, and this is not a show that can happen in bits and spurts. So we have a huge cast that's in place. So bringing all of them together will require some sort of time and planning, and that's underway. So,
Sure.
but the audience can definitely expect a season 3.
Right, right, right. Did COVID play a great role in disrupting the flow and the the end timing? Did
Yes,
contribute?
actually, COVID sort of delayed season two's release a little bit. We were hoping to probably come mid last year, but we came a little later in the year. And obviously, with the planning of season 3 and the execution of it, things are definitely delayed because of that. But it has been a tough time for everybody. So I think uh, film problems or problems in the media, these are very small things compared to what the world has had to go through. So we are not complaining, or we'll all find a way and make things happen as quick as possible.
Sure. Now, what between you both, I mean, your opinion personally, uh, did season 2 exceed expectation, or was season 1 the best so far? I mean, there's a lot of thing about season people. I mean, it's a mixed feedback, but a lot of people say जो मजा season 1 में था, वो 2 में नहीं आया. हालांकि we could see the money, the glamour, the details there as well. But as per you, what had an edge?
इसको ऐसे compare तो नहीं कर सकते, Tony, to be very honest. I mean, we made both the seasons, so it's like, both are babies, so it's very difficult to compare between the two.
Sure.
I think season 2 got more mature because of the way season 1 ended. Certain things happened in characters' lives. So जो मजा वो कैरेक्टर्स करते थे, जैसा आपने बोला, वो 2 में नहीं कर सकते थे. इट्स द डिमांड ऑफ द सिचुएशन दैट दे वर इन. तो
Sure.
डेफिनेटली हम उस गली नहीं जा सकते थे. Personally speaking, I can't exactly comment which one we like better. I think we like both of them equally, and for us, both of them worked. Yeah, I don't know. Both of us are equal for us. What do you think?
How about you?
So similar, I guess. We are too close to the subject to be able to choose
I know.
between the two. Like I said earlier, both the seasons have different colors, and that was intentional going in. So if season 1 was red hot, because that was the state of mind of those characters, season 2 was a little more slow burn and brewing. But that is something that we wanted to explore and do. So we knew that going in. And our experiences have been great on both seasons, and our feedback's been great on both seasons. So we find both sort of people. Some people who come in and say that we thought season 1 was, like you were mentioning, was too violent, was too out there, was did not probably go deep enough into the characters, and we really loved season 2 and the maturity and the emotion that it had, and where it went. And then we find other people who really love the you know uh, the edginess of season 1, and the pace of season one, and then they'll feel that season two was slightly slow burn for them. So we find both sort of people, and as long as they're enjoying it overall, I think that's what works. And because there are now two seasons, there is a option for a choice between the two to pick, which is great. So which will always be there in for
This
everyone.
format. Yeah.
Yes, which we are happy to, and we are very open to hearing criticism as well. We don't ignore that and sit on any claims that this was a good season, this was a good season. So whenever people come and tell us something or react to something, that's something that we sort of imbibe and keep in our minds for future things of what they liked and what they didn't, and hopefully it'll reflect in things in the future.
Yeah, as
So,
one of my friends said, that did you lose some fans from 1 to 2? Yes, but did you make new fans from 1 to 2? That also yes. So I think it's that kind of thing. Yes.
sure. In short, can you just share with us one incident that was life-threatening, besides the writers and the directors, having all the legal issues? I mean, was there anything during the making that was life-threatening you'd like to share with us? Anything, one small incident?
Life threatening, nothing.
Yeah,
No,
no,
right?
actually,
Nothing.
No.
even though, yeah, it was a very, very, very action-packed show. We were very lucky, and like I said, we had a very strong team behind the scenes. So they were like extra cautious with things that had happened. I think if there could have been anything life-threatening, it's probably the actors dealing with the fans on season two. I think that would have been their most
That's a good one.
hectic experience that they would have had. In sometimes
Yes.
shooting in UP, so we did tend to get mobbed now and then, but the fans were very, very gracious. Actually, whenever the actors came out and spoke to them, they let us shoot in peace, and even that was also not very stressful. So I think overall we've had a very, very fun experience on both the seasons. I think, and Mirzapur was always shot in very trying circumstances, in like very extreme weather. बहुत गर्मी में हमेशा shoot होता है मिर्जापुर. That's how luck turns out, and we are always shooting in those months where it's extremely hot. So it's very, very uncomfortable for the cast and crew. But I think that just brings them together even closer, and we've had like a fantastic experience even offset while shooting it, and made some really good friends behind the scenes. So for us, the show is very special.
Was there, sorry, again, this is again for the director, is there any one single most gratifying creative scene you put it together? You said, I don't know how it happened. It was magic. I didn't do it, but something else took over. Is there any you can recall?
There are many now. I mean, probably have to name like three, four big ones, because I can't think of one precise moment that you even when you sit back after a while and you watch it, you feel that this has turned out really well, or how this happened, or if this has to happen again, it probably won't. So there are three, four sequences in mind. The first time Munna comes home to the Tripathi family at the end of episode one in season one is something that turned out exactly like we thought we wanted it to be. Munna killing compounder in season one. I think that whole scenario, um, the like for me, the scene when Guddu gets up and starts walking in season two, that sequence, or when he helps Golu fire the gun for the first time. Those are things that maybe on paper we hadn't thought would turn out, in such a way, but they had their own sort of magic, and the eventual climax of season two, that whole build up that was happening, the shootout at the Tyagi. So there are many actually moments that one can look back on, and we are all like, if this has to be done again, I don't know if we'd be ever be able to do it. So many moments actually.
Excellent.
So for
Was there
example,
any? Yeah,
for example,
sure. Go ahead, please.
Gurmmeet Bhai was talking about this scene, where Guddu helps Golu fire a gun
Shoot.
in that jungle sort of a scenario. So originally on paper, it was written like a 4-page scene with a lot of heavy dialogues. And then he came back and said, "Okay, how about we do this without any dialogue and only in emotions, eyes, faces, him just lifting her hand up and pointing towards a certain direction." And I was confused whether we'll be able to pull it off or not. But then I said, "Fine, let's give it a try." So all dialogues were removed. It became a half-piece scene on paper, Guddu comes and helps Golu. That's the only thing written on paper now, right? And then it translates into what you see on the screen, and I think it becomes a wonderful thing.
Lovely. That was so well done. Now, if is there any? Do you regret terminating any character and say, "I wish that we had not terminated it"? I mean, you've made big sacrifices, and that's what I was wondering. Do you have enough to? Because Munna, I mean, there's a lot of thing out there that Munna will come back, but Vikrant, another, you know, do you regret that you could have holded on any character, take it further?
So we regret in the sense that we can't do things with them which we could do when they were alive. But you know, the good part, I'm saying it in a slightly dark, convoluted way, that the good part is that they died, that people felt for their demise, which is a great victory for us as makers. That if someone is dying on screen and you're feeling for him or her, that means we did our job well while connecting you with those characters.
Hmm.
So in that sense, doing it with Munna was even more difficult because Munna is not a traditionally speaking a good guy. So in that sense, it was good that they died and you felt for them. If you wouldn't have felt for them, then it would have been a kind of a failure. But if you felt for them, that was good. Yes, we missed all the characters that have died so far, but I think from a storytelling point of view, it was the right call that we took.
Sure. If you had to redo season 1 and 2, is there anything different you would do again?
Now, what do you say, Gurupa? I think nothing.
But I think, see, that anything that you touch to a fabric, it just changes the whole scenario. So that is, hindsight is a great thing, but whatever is done and is made is for the best. I don't think even we should look at going back to tweak and all that, because it just means we are 4 years older, wiser, or maybe less innocent. So if you go back and do something, maybe we will never be able to pull off the innocence that we had then. So something will color whatever we sort of change. So I think whatever is there is probably the best.
Okay, so that means you would not change anything. I mean, that was the need of the hour. You done. When you look back even 10 years from now, you say that's it. I've made it. It's here to stay.
That doesn't mean that when we see it, we don't see our mistakes. बहुत गलतियां दिखती हैं अपना काम. If you look at your own work, all you can see is stuff that could have been better. But at that point, the decisions taken are with the best interest. So you have to agree and be okay with that this was the best effort you had put in at that time, and that will have its own value. So like I said, if something could have been technically corrected, maybe the soul would go away when it gets done again. So maybe it gets shot better, or maybe it gets lit better, or maybe it gets edited better, but you can never bring the magic back again. That's something that happens only, I think, in the first go.
My last two questions, actually, I could speak to you for hours, because it's like you guys you've made it, and it's so good, it's so perfect, it's a blessing. Some hand is there on top of you guys to sort of make a thing like this. And now, what next after Mirzapur series have had it? Say, I hope you can make 6, 7, 8, but what next for Team Mirzapur? Because you have a lot of loading, and is that loading advantageous, or would that probably, be a bit of a burden?
Again, a slightly difficult question to answer, because it becomes easier in the sense that people are willing to listen to your stories more easily. They believe that Mirzapur banaya to अच्छा ही कर लेंगे ये लोग काम, that kind of a thing. But at the same time, that burden is there on the shoulders, that burden of expectation, which has a potential of destroying anyone in this field of creativity. So it's a mixed bag in that sense. But overall, I would like to say that we would want to take it positively and try to keep telling more and more stories which should entertain, because that's the primary job of ours, to entertain people. That's what I personally believe. So in that sense, it's a mixed bag sort of a thing after Mirzapur. I would still like to call myself blessed, or ourselves blessed, that this happened, because uh, for us to tell more and more stories and people willing to listen to us, it's a blessing for sure. Yeah.
Gurpreet, I wanted to ask you, is there a mentor or a role model you have that sort of inspires you to do what you do?
Never actually thought of anything like that. So again, we watch films and read books and learn from them. But I'm not a heavy cinephile, so I'm not someone that constantly watches or reads. So it's all casual, and literally, I think the people that you meet in life and you interact with and you work with, I think those are the people that sort of inspire you or help you grow in your journey. And people like Puneet. So when you meet like-minded people, you bond and you hope that you'll have fun while doing something. So for us, I guess the journey is also equally as important as the destination. So sometimes even if the destination is not as sweet, you know that you had fun making it. So there are no regrets.
Is it signal for us to hang up now?
That's, I think, Gurubai's dog.
Oh, okay, okay. No, it was just excellent speaking to both of you, and really, I must say that you've done a fabulous job. Hope season 3 comes out soon, and it is better than 1 and 2, and then you get more enthusiasm to go for 5 and 6.
Thank you so much, Shirley. Thank you.
Thank you so
It
much.
was a pleasure. Cheers.
God bless. Thank you, and
Thank
all the
you.
best,
Shukriya.
and best wishes. Any message for Australians? I mean, they love you so much. They watch you here, left, right, center. So, anything you like to say, or what is your perception about Australia?
We love them as cricketers for sure. I mean, we love those battles that happen in the field. They are a feisty team. So yeah, and uh, I come from the corporate world, so a lot of my friends work in Australia in IT industry. So that's there's a connection there. Apart from
Wow.
that, yeah, I mean, any international country liking our show, we are happy to call them as friends.
How about you, Gurpreet?
I mean, I hope that we weren't living in this pandemic time and we could have come physically to Australia to take the award. That would have been the best, and to come and see Australia, because we are fascinated by it. So it would be great. And like Puneet said, even I have some friends and family there, so it would be great to come and visit you guys and meet everybody there. And please keep watching Mirzapur. That's all that we can say.
For sure, and many more to come.
Many more to come.
Wish you all the best on and yeah, thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you so much, Joe.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.